What's going on, everyone? Happy Thursday to everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, testing negative for COVID. If you did test positive, we hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time for the Thursday edition of the Pandemic Update for Thursday, November 2nd, 2023. If you are new to my channel, we've had several new people follow the channel lately, and if you're clicking onto one of my videos for the first time, this is where we do an update on the COVID pandemic. Wait, did he just say COVID pandemic? Yes, I did. The pandemic's not over. And if you're convinced that it is, please stick with me. Watch this video. If I can convince you that the pandemic is not over at the end of the video, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below. I promise to help keep you and your family safe from COVID and other airborne viruses that could be, an issue, maybe even life-threatening. Yes, COVID is a life-threatening virus still. Starting off with today's update, as promised, we do have that chart from Australia that proves that what you're seeing on Worldometers is just incorrect. Australia enters its 8th COVID wave. Now we have to stop, because let's take a look here. Keyword, 8th COVID wave. Well, you're thinking, well, wait a second. I thought COVID was a seasonal virus. They're saying it's going to be seasonal like the flu. All right, stop and think about that for a second. 8 waves. If it was seasonal like the flu, have we had 8 winters since 2020, spring 2020? No, we haven't. This proves COVID can happen any time of the year. And remember, we are in fall here in America. If you're in Australia, you are entering spring, then you're going to enter summer. That means, yes, you're having a spring wave in Australia right now. And we'll have to see how big it goes. There is a tiny bit of good news, and this comes from Australia's Chief Medical Officer. And he says, each of the waves we've had this year have been less and less severe, said Australia's Chief Medical Officer. So I guess that's good news, but hey, a new wave is starting. Let's see what happens. I don't know what variant they are on right now. I don't know if it's JN.1, BA 2.86. That we'll have to do some further investigation. Alrighty, moving on now to some good news. When I find good news, I like to share it. Global COVID vaccination saved 2.4 million lives in first 8 months, study estimates. The COVID-19 vaccination campaign in 141 countries averted 2.4 million excess deaths by August 2021. This is a good thing. This is fantastic. But ultimately, we do know some people who were vaccinated. Yes, a few passed, and unfortunately, some who became infected did still have to encounter long COVID, which is just terrible. We know of several people that post on Twitter that were fully vaccinated, and yet they still got long COVID. All right, moving on to this. We have some more good news. Maybe you're new here, and maybe you're saying, oh, COVID, masks don't work, masks are useless. Wrong. The type of mask you wear is key. What a new study says about the effectiveness of masks against COVID-19. We're not going to read this whole study. In fact, we could do a whole video just based on this, just based on the other topic. We're not going to. Masks provide protection from COVID-19, says a new study published by the Journal of American Medical Association. Masking in the community to reduce the spread of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, is supported by robust evidence from diverse settings and populations. The review of previous research posted Tuesday to the JMA network concluded. And like I said, the type of mask that you wear is key. Those flimsy cloth masks and those baggy blue surgical masks, well, blue surgical masks were in style at the beginning of the pandemic. Now it's transitioned in healthcare settings, the ones that still use masks, to the yellow mask. I don't know. I guess someone knew someone who printed up yellow mask and made that person rich, because I see a lot of yellow surgical masks in the healthcare settings. However, the best mask that you should be wearing is the N95. That's the one that's most effective. That's the one that's going to prove that masks do work. Not the baggy surgical masks and not them flimsy cloth masks that do absolutely nothing for you. They're useless. Those cloth masks, they will not prevent COVID. COVID's just going to come right through that. They're loose. And the ones that say, well, masks don't work, and you have the mask under your chin, yeah, you actually have to cover your mouth and your nose with the mask. And N95 mask does that, and you can also go even better than N95. All right, moving on now to this. Let's switch over to flu. Hey, by the way, N95 masks are better? Yes, it works for flu as well. First flu deaths of the season reported in North Carolina, officials confirm. If you have not gotten your flu shot, now is a good time to get it. If you're a person that doesn't usually get a flu shot, get it. Hey, that used to be me back in the day before COVID became a thing. I was always one like, I'm not going to get the flu shot. I'm not going to get it. Guess what? Ever since having COVID back in 2020 and now long COVID, I want to do whatever I can to keep myself protected from any of these darn viruses. And that includes getting a flu shot. And if you haven't gotten your COVID booster yet, by all means, go out and do it. I will be getting my Novavax in the near future. And speaking about Novavax, I did ask a question yesterday. To those who got the Novavax booster at Costco or somewhere else, did your insurance cover it, or did you have to pay anything out of pocket? The vast majority, and there were over 387 comments. Yes, it's still going up. The vast majority said their insurance covered it. Some people said they had to pay out of pocket. Some people said they were going to pay out of pocket, but then they would get reimbursed. So the vast majority said insurance is covering their Novavax booster shot. So that's good news. One of the reasons why I asked was because I was curious to know, am I going to have to pay out of pocket? But the majority didn't, so I take that as some good news. We also move on to this in Nebraska. Nebraska study found new method to examine the spread of COVID in deer, and what they are finding is that there's quite a few deer out there that have antibodies for COVID. So that's something we have to watch out. And in many different states, I know in Pennsylvania, at the end of this month, well, it's what's called archery season now, but rifle season, which is much bigger for hunting. There's hundreds of thousands of hunters that will come to Pennsylvania. They're going to be hunting for deer, and chances are, maybe you know someone who does it in other states. Maybe that's how deer first got COVID. I honestly don't know how they first got it, but yes, it could. It could, spread COVID to deer. Look at this. While scientists have recognized a connection between human and animal diseases, the original SARS-CoV outbreak, followed by H5N1 or bird flu, and then COVID-19, heightened the need to identify and track potential threats in animals. We're going to tweet this out. We're not going to read the whole thing. Yet again, this is a whole topic that could lead to a video itself. Seems like a lot of these news stories could be something I could spend 10 minutes on, because there's just that much data that we're finding out about this virus. All right, let's take a look at air quality. Let's start with the good news first. The good news is the East Coast is not terrible, but you do see some red sites here. I don't know whether that's active emergency, where that's being caused by a fire of some sort. Do see a little bit of yellow in the Great Lakes. Not terribly concerned about that, though. In the coming days, we may become concerned about that, because let's just keep tracing our steps backwards here. And we come into the Dakotas. We come into Minneapolis. We're starting to see some smoke here. Where's that coming from? Well, we have a big wildfire issue on the West Coast, California, up here, Washington, Idaho. I believe there's problems up there as well. Look at this. The smoke is coming up here. It follows the jet stream. It comes up, and then it goes down, and now it's wound its way into the Dakotas and Minneapolis. And quite frankly, I think I was looking at some forecast modeling of the wind projectiles from the jet stream. It could make its way all the way to the East Coast. So it's something we'll have to watch. Will it be as bad as what's in California and Washington? Probably not, but it's going to get up there to the point that if you're an asthma, allergy sufferer, or someone who has COPD, you're going to want to take precautions, because this is going to be a problem. So we're going to be following this, and we're likely going to be tracking this probably for the next couple weeks, maybe right on through the middle portion of this month, because I'm not seeing much in the way of changes out there. these fires are going uncontrolled right now. All right, let's take a look at Walgreens this week. 27.3% positivity rate. The prior week was 26%. That's up 1.3%. Total tests 11,752. Prior week 11,994. Now let's take a look at a couple of those wastewater scan sites. And let's take a look at Wheaton, Illinois. It's just west of the Chicago area. I don't recall this site being on the wastewater scan, but look at this here. It was, so I don't know why we haven't looked at it more often. Maybe we just forgot about it. Taking a look here, we can see COVID is medium, and there is a somewhat of a rise going on. Influenza is low. It had a rise in September to October. RSV is rising. That's high, so you want to be protected from RSV if you are in this area. No Mpox, and norovirus is low, but norovirus is starting to rise a little bit faster now. Any hepatitis A here? We've been following this for the last several days, and yes, there is some hepatitis A being detected from time to time there. Let's now continue on here. How about we take a look at what's going on up in, can we look at Alaska? Let's see what's going on up in Alaska, shall we? Looks like we have to refresh the page for that, but we have not taken a look at Alaska in a very long time, and here we go. We can get Alaska on the map, can we? There it is. Anchorage, Alaska. What's going on there? And COVID is coming up as high, though it looks like it has leveled off a little bit. Wow. Influenza, it says low, but there is a rapid rise in influenza. Take a look at that. I mean, that's going to be medium pretty soon. RSV is low. HMPV is starting to rise. And, what is this? Back in September 22nd of 2023, this year, just, back in September, there was a strong detection of a monkeypox case. So that is not good. Norovirus is medium, dropping ever so slightly. And is there any hepatitis there? No. No hepatitis A being detected there. Let's take a look now at the latest variants. HV.1 is in the lead at 25.2%, EG.5 at 21.9%, FL151 at 12%, and XBB116.6 at 9.2%, and then followed by about 15 to 20 other variants at a smaller number. The latest number of COVID hospital admissions is 16,186. We should get an update on this later in the week. Yeah, it didn't update yet. I think Friday is when that updates now. Taking a look at EMS incidents in Philadelphia. There were 770 of them for yesterday's count. That was the Wednesday total count. Taking a look at the Philadelphia suburbs, you can see there are some calls ongoing right now in Montgomery County. Not many, but sometimes it's not the number of calls, it's the severity of the calls. And we're seeing dizziness, we're seeing accidents, but we're also seeing this, a stroke, and yikes, I don't like to see this, cardiac arrest in Lower Providence Township, Montgomery County, and that stroke is in Abingdon Township, Montgomery County, which is literally not far from me. Yikes. Taking a look at this in Chester County, Pennsylvania. Again, it's not the number of calls, it's the severity, and yikes. Sick person, sick person, sick person, and 3 heart problem calls. Not good. Never good to see. Heart problem could mean heart attack. That could be their way of saying cardiac arrest. I don't think they have a cardiac arrest category. They may, and I just don't see it that often. Continuing on now, let's cross the Delaware River. Today we'll go across the Walt Whitman Bridge and take a look at New Jersey, where 70 out of 70 hospitals reported today. Thank you for having all your hospitals report. 451 hospitalizations is today. Yesterday was 446. It's slightly up. That's probably a product of all hospitals reporting. 19 people on a ventilator. In the ICU, 43. And there have been 66 discharges in the state of New Jersey. Taking a look at New York State, 1,758 new cases. That is much higher than yesterday's number. Taking a look at hospitalizations in New York State, they are not rising at this time. 1,226 people in the hospital. So that is down slightly again. Chicago, 14 people is the daily average for hospitalizations. Beds in use is up 1.5%. Emergency room visits are up 1%. Laboratory confirmed cases are up. And it does say here 110 is the daily average. Deaths are down ever so slightly. And vaccinations are in the red, meaning they've gone down. 2,462, We need more people to get vaccinated with the booster in Chicago, and it is at 24.2%, so I guess that's a good number. Texas updated yesterday. Current week cases and probable cases is 9,553. That's up by 322. Fatalities were down by 10, 45 versus 55. Number of people in the hospital were up by 5, 1,038 versus 1,033. Massachusetts, overall, 10.9% of emergency department visits were for respiratory diseases. Also, based on the revised CDC levels, influenza is low, COVID is minimal, COVID-19 hospitalizations is low. Low meaning that's like the second tier. I think minimal is the lowest. Yes, minimal is the lowest. So low, that is, second tier, slightly higher. Taking a look now at what's going on in Washington State. COVID down 18% for emergency department visits. COVID down 32% on admissions. Influenza down 50%. 0% for RSV. I guess they're not seeing any RSV in the hospital. And it does say here for COVID-19 in the ICU, up by 1, influenza down by 2. Now let's go over to Colorado. And Colorado, unfortunately, continues to rise. 236 people were hospitalized last week. It's update. Now it's up to 257. And this has been a long-term rise. It's been rising since August. So, yes, it's just continuing right into the winter wave, it looks like. We do not have any other states. I wanted to show you Ohio, but I'm not seeing any updated numbers on what happened in Ohio this week. No news outlets reported on, and their website, or at least last I checked on it a few weeks ago, their website is undergoing some sort of a change. Let's briefly take a look at a few international countries. You already saw Australia. Brazil is down 19% for cases, down 7% for deaths. Full disclaimer, some of these could very well be wrong, as we found out with Australia. Russia, cases up 30%, deaths up 22%. Germany, cases down 5%, deaths down 10%. Poland, cases up 35%, deaths up 340%. 22 versus 5, that's not good. Chile, cases are up 45%, no deaths reported. And how about we end today on Hong Kong? We'll end on a good note, at least on their cases. They're down 36%. Unfortunately, their deaths are up 17%. 14 versus 12. Alrighty, that does it for today's pandemic update. If you're new to my channel, were you convinced that the pandemic is not over? That people are still being hospitalized? People are still dying? Cases are still out there? If you are, give this a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. And of course, if you know anyone that needs to see this content, because maybe they want to be on top of the pandemic, or maybe they think, oh no, COVID's over, send them our way. I would love to see more people watch these videos and get informed on the correct information. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone, and have a fantastic Thursday evening.